Now, another popular model which is used within the fund management industry is what we call as the Fama French model. So, again, a very popular model used by a few equity analysts. And within this model, we try to attempt, the main idea is to attempt to model the systematic risk using certain factors which are specific to individual firms and measuring it as a proxy for market risk. Now, the words to relate to here are systematic risk and market risk, because we know that whenever we are talking from a systematic risk perspective, we are talking from a market risk perspective. So recall our discussion on CAPM. So in the CAPM bit, we had a factor called as beta, and we had the market portfolio. So all that we are measuring as a part of CAPM was our systematic risk, because we were relating this to the overall expected premium which we are earning by investing in the market vis-a-vis risk-free rate of return. So that's how these terms tie up systematic risk and market risk. So through this model, we'll try to model systematic risk using certain factors which are specific to a certain firm. So a general equation for our Pharma French model would look like this. We have RIT, which is the expected return on our position. Then the two important components to note here is the SMB and HML. So what do we mean by them? So SMB is what we call as the difference between small minus big. That is, this is the return on a portfolio on small stocks in excess of the returns on portfolios in the large stocks. So that's what we call the small minus big part. Of course, there will be a certain every smaller stock. Generally, when we talk from a market capitalization perspective, small cap stocks are assumed to be slightly riskier as compared to the large cap stocks. So naturally, they have a potential to drive portfolio returns. So that helps us relate to the logic of SMB, small minus big, and HML, which we call as high minus low. So this is the difference between a high book market ratio, or this is the return on assets with high book to market ratio in excess to the returns on stock with a low book to market ratio. So that way, book value to the market value. So this is something which is also adding value to our overall analysis. So many equity analysts use this as one of the measures when they are to narrow down or discuss equity research, or maybe talk of equity analysis. So that's why high minus low is another component which helps us understand the overall performance for that particular firm as well. And the market index will capture the systematic risk from the various macro factors. And further extending the market index point. So market index is also an important component here, because it is expected to measure the impact of systematic risk owing to various macroeconomic factors as well. So that is something which is used in the analysis. Now, SMB and HML have historically been related to stock returns. So, and that's why they're used as a components of this model. So this is through empirical research and something which has been used by analysts over the years. And also, the overall performance of this particular model will be dependent on the market index which has been chosen as a proxy. Because we have a certain proxy, because we spoke of the market index, which will be used to measure the systematic risk pertaining to specific macro factors. So the what index we are choosing, that will also have an important role in which the overall model is going to function. So so this is an important selection. So the market index selection has to be done in a correct manner. So now to so just to summarize a few things around APT, when we talk of general models for APT, I feel the main challenge is to identify proper proxies for risk factors to be used, because the thing is, finally, whenever we are analyzing anything in the APT space, we are trying to have a much better view or a far better understanding as to the way in which various risk factors are impacting our positions. So that way, choosing the proper risk factors, or maybe proper proxies for risk factors, is the key. So be it choosing the proper macro factors or proper assets which will impact our portfolio returns, or also choosing the correct market index as a proxy, something which is required as a part of Fama French model. So all of these factors are important. So whenever a analyst or a portfolio manager decides to use these kind of things in their analysis, they are expected to ensure that they use their expertise and experience to fetch or pick the right the right risk factors or maybe the right proxies to be used in their analysis, which will finally help them uh, uh, maybe do a proper drill down as to the way in which their asset returns are being driven. Also, at the same time, it will help them manage their risks in far better manner, because if their factor identification is correct, then naturally they'll be able to do risk management in a better manner, because then it can be more of a pinpointed approach, isn't it? If we can have a certain factor X which we have clearly identified, then we can have various risk management strategies, let's say, for example, through derivatives, to address that particular risk factor. So that's how it can benefit in the overall portfolio management perspective.